Perfect. Hi, guys. Welcome to the call tonight. I'm Andy Kennedy
And I'm
and
Craig.
Craig Kennedy, and we're in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And Fawn, give us a wave. Fawn is our other speaker tonight. So Fawn is in Wyoming, and Fawn and Craig and I met virtually before we met physically. Fawn was super brave and reached out and purchased one of our tickets for this event that we're sharing about tonight, and wound up now she's just one of our good buddies, which is awesome. It's how this business works, right? So the three of us and many others, many other of our Juice Plus family, and then probably hundreds of other network marketing companies went out last week to the GoPro Recruiting Mastery event with Eric Worre and his team in Las Vegas, and it was awesome. This was my fifth event with GoPro, Craig's second, and Fawn's first, which was awesome. My first year, I live streamed the Recruiting Mastery event, which always happens in either late December or late November or early December in Las Vegas, and it's co-ed. And then the next 2 years, I went to his March event with a bunch of our women from our team, and that one is called GoPro Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing. It was awesome. And then last year, Craig and I started going to this one, and I love it. I think we'll probably always go unless there's a conflict, but we already purchased tickets. The three of us, Fawn as well, already purchased tickets for next year. So we're not here to really sell tickets, but I think it's such a powerful event for all of us.
And it's the 10-year anniversary. They've promised to pull
true.
out all the stops. They should have amazing speakers, and the tickets have never been cheaper. We bought a 10-pack. They were $350 each only if you bought a 10-pack. This year, single tickets were under $300. Mm-hmm. Those went up as soon as the thing ended. So I think tickets even now are $350. So cheaper than ever. Good time to get them.
Yeah, for sure. The earlier you get them, the better. And maybe if you have a team that wants to go, you buy them together. But so we're just going to share. I'm going to share first, and then Fawn is going to share, and then Craig is going to wrap it up for us. But our biggest takeaways from this event, of course, being there with a ton of other people, really solidifies your belief in the industry, if you will. And I really think that we, Craig and I, continue to build our belief in the industry through this event, which is amazing. So I'm going to let him talk about that. But one of my biggest takeaways, and always with every event that I go to, doesn't matter whether it's GoPro or Juice Plus Live or any of the other coaching events that we do, the question that was asked at this event was, does your level of activity match your level of your goal? And for me, whenever I ask myself that question, it does seem like the answer is there's still a little bit more I could give to my team, to my network, and to our mission, right, of inspiring healthy living around the world. So if I was truly looking at, am I doing enough work that matches NMD 100 Club? Yeah, of course, I could always still be doing more work. But one of the quotes that I loved was, be the one that others are observing because you're doing it so loudly. And that was a big thing that, as any event that I've ever been to with GoPro, there are such high caliber speakers there that, it's just quote after quote after quote, one-liner after one-liner, and they've all learned from the best, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Eric Worre himself. At this event, he does, every day, he does about 2 to 3 hours of training, and it's great tools and really, really high-powered, focused questions for us to think about ourselves and our business. So far as that level of activity am I doing, is it more presentations that I need to do? I used to get really excited about how many invites I was doing. And this month we started one of his, once a year I do his 20 in 30, which is 20 new distributors. It's a big push for 20 distributors in 30 days. And I was already doing that, but I came back and kind of upped the level of activity. So I'm reaching out to 30 people a day. That sounds like a lot. But am I doing 30 presentations a day? No. Am I even doing one a day? No. So, I think I need to personally shift my excitement level for not the invites per se, keep obviously the invites high, but to really shift my excitement and focus on the presentations themselves. And then bigger goals, right? Bigger dream, bigger goals, bigger level of activity. One of the awesome panels that were up on stage this event was an international panel and a global icon panel. And that was super helpful for me, I think, to really learn how some of the international people who are really big in their international business, and we're in 25 countries, 24 countries. So of course we should be building in those countries, but I always had this block of how am I going to get into the UK or Spain or, all of the countries that we go to, Dubai, Australia. And I used to think, I need to know people in those countries. But time and time again, we heard, no, you need to build here in your own backyard and make those connections that way. So, maybe someone who knows someone in Italy, or go there, but they said really build in your own backyard first and let that happen. So setting a goal for being more of an international business is another goal for ours. And then bringing another big shifting the level of activity for me was bringing team to the Sacramento conference. We've always had about 5 people at conference, and we've always had pretty much a 5 club. So, if you want to be a 12 club, then you need to bring 12 people to conference. And he talks about money, but I know our company has kind of figured that if how many people you have at conference is about your club level. So that's a big shift for me as well. I'm starting to reach out to those locations now. So starting to reach out to people I know in Sacramento to get them to come. And even Austin, reached out to someone in Austin when we were at this event. So those are my level of activity takeaways. And then I'm going to rattle through these social media takeaways pretty quick. So this is being recorded. You can watch the recording later. But we had so many great ideas and tips and knowledge and homework. We spent the entire Thursday on social media. We get a couple of great presentations at JP Live on social media. And I feel like, every now and then we have a lot of millennials that are talking about and experts that are talking about it in our industry, in our company as well. But these guys, it was a lot of stuff I've never heard before. So number one, Facebook is in an all-out battle with YouTube right now for power of the internet and videos. So when you post a video on Facebook, it's actually getting a bigger boost. So more videos, whether it's live or not, it doesn't have to be live, but making your videos funny, helpful. I was always like, I don't do live because I'm awkward about what am I going to post about? And one of the speakers said, just pick something that about that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your products and start building excitement. One of the speakers even had a weekly, he said consistency is key, right? We know that too. So picking a time and posting every week at that time and creating your kind of live Facebook show, whether it's your history, Fear to Fearless. He said, write 10 titles and then rattle them off that week. So the other one is creating an Instagram dream team by bookmarking. So there's a little bookmark icon when you see somebody's post on the right-hand bottom side of their post. And if you love that person and you want them on your team, then put them in your little notebook, your dream team notebook, and then you can go back and continue to friend and start the conversation and build a relationship with that person. Another one is using audio. So as you're reaching out to people on Messenger, really starting a conversation on audio. And one of the challenges for us was reaching out. It doesn't matter how many friends, whether you have 200 friends or 2,000 friends, starting a conversation in audio in Messenger with every one of those friends. Number 4, share your content with your team, which I think Juice Plus is super good at. So I loved hearing that. Telling your story 100 times in 30 days through Facebook Messenger. Speaking from the heart, one of the women said, if you speak from the heart, you don't really need a script. I know a lot of my new team is always like, I don't know what to say, and in which case then maybe you're overthinking it. So speaking from the heart when it comes to social media. Oh, this one I love. This one I'm using already. Number 7, scroll to the bottom of your Facebook friends. So the people that you see a lot, the people that you interact with a lot are at the top of your friends list. When you go into, your profile and your friends, scroll to the bottom. So I've been doing 30 reach outs a day, and they're all from the bottom of my friends list, which is pretty cool. People I haven't seen in a long time, interacted with in a long time. Number 8 is at the beginning of each month, get with your team to send 25 to 50 messages to fill their calendar. So Eric Ward is a big at front loading your month with reach outs. Middle of your month is presentation. Last of your month is follow-ups. That's a big 20 and 30 thing. Number 9, this is a really good one as well. We all talk about 3-way calls. Well, how about 3-way messenger conversations? So you put someone into a messenger group with a friend, and I've had people do this for me with someone that has a thyroid issue, because that's part of my story. But I think it's a great, a great tool to have 3-way Facebook convos and make them in audio so that they're hearing your passion, right? And then the last one, and this one we heard a couple of times as well, especially from one of the $1 million earners, join as many Facebook groups as possible. And this guy was in 2,000 or 3,000 Facebook groups, he said?
20,000.
Oh, sorry, 20.
20,000.
Wow.
He also made $3.2 million this year.
Yeah. So, it was blowing everybody's mind on the panel that he was on. Like, how are you even managing that? And he said he has a spreadsheet, and that's how he keeps track of what group he's posting in all the time. But he basically is just building rapport in groups about things that he likes. So he likes guns. He's in a gun group. He likes Jeeps, motorcycles. He's in a Jeep group. Cameras, camera group. So, and I've heard that before, but I've never heard it at that caliber. That was crazy. And then my bonus one is from one of my favorite speakers, Frazer Brookes. He's from the UK, and he was just on fire in his presentation. You can look him up. He's on Facebook. He does videos every week. And it's Frazer, Frazer, Brookes, Brookes. Anyway, he said, don't use the like button for 30 days or forever. Stop using the like button. Use the love button. You're actually going to increase your visibility on Facebook if you're loving what everyone is doing versus liking what everyone is doing. And then just to kind of wrap up my section, big name trainers. We had Ray Higdon, Jeff Roberti, John Maxwell, Frazer Brookes, Eric Worre. I mean, big. They were teaching skills. I loved the skills on presenting and the systems and communications that we had. Big money. Magic Johnson, rags to riches stories, and then big coaching. I really loved that that's what they're all about, is coaching. So those are my takeaways. Fawn, take it away.
Okay. Thanks, Andy. So my takeaway, so like Andy said, this was my first time attending the event. My takeaways are, obviously a lot of the same stuff, but for me, like Andy said, the activity level, just coming back from that kind of training at that level, Juice Plus Live is fantastic. I've been to 2, but this training, the level of the group of people, the level of the training just takes it to a whole different world. The very last closing, and I think I mentioned this, that I do have, we do get access to the recorded whole days of conferences for 2 weeks, Andy? I think we have it till like the 28th or something like that.
Yeah, we have access to the live stream for 2 weeks. Yep.
So I've talked with Andy a little bit about, I don't think we're technically supposed to send out the link, but we can do some Zooms and try to find some of these big, because, I have a hard time just recapping some of that big influential stuff that these people said. So we can, pick different trainings from John Maxwell, or even the information from what Jeff Roberti said, which some of us have heard. and maybe stream those in, Zoom them, and then we can record them, and then we'll have access to those at a later date. What else? Like Andy said, the consistency, just coming back, even for me, consistency is what I heard. Consistency. Johnny Green is another big person in the business, and he was a speaker. I've seen his some of his trainings with Eric. Don't quit. The biggest thing, don't quit. Consistency. Be hungry. Continue to stay hungry. Those are the big, we talked about this, at dinner a couple of times. Even Craig asked me, what were your takeaways? That was it. Be hungry, be consistent, and don't quit. I mean, there was people on stage, a lot of rags to riches, a lot of moms, working 70-hour weeks. They've got 4 kids at home, 9th grade educations. There's no difference from what you see on the stage, and most of them are 6 and 7 figure earners, to what we are sitting out in the audience. And that it just puts it all into perspective, that the goals, the dreams are there for us at our taking. And this level of training is amazing. It just, I don't even know really what else to say. Like Andy said, there was a lot of great training from Eric. He gave us some real specifics about when you deal with, what's the word? When somebody objects, like when you have someone that says, whatever he pulled a girl out of the audience, and he tried to get her to be basically a negative Nelly. And he turned that around, which was super beneficial. I mean, how to deal with someone that throws everything at you that they don't want, the product or the business. So he just gave a lot of great tips about listening to what they say, relating to them, telling your story, just understanding, for things to change, you have to change. And so, and even with all the follow-up, always keep the conversation going. Every time you meet with somebody, think about the next meet. The first meet is to set up the next meet. And he kept saying that all follow-up is keeping the conversation going. So no matter what, the one time you have a meet or a conversation, then continue on with the next setup for the next conversation. So, I mean, that for me, that was huge. Just continuing the conversation, build the relationship. They all talked about building the relationships of, this is a relationship business. And so I think for me, those are some of the huge takeaways. And just, obviously meeting Andy and Craig, listening to some of their advice. They were fantastic to be there with, and just, John Maxwell, some of these people that I have just recently learned about. I've heard Jeff Roberti speak one time. Magic Johnson was amazing. These are some of the most powerful people in what we do, and to get training from them is, you can't really put a price tag on it. It just is. It just is fantastic. So for me, I'm in it. Like Andy said, I'm booked in for the next year. Eric said that he's pulling out all the stops at the 10th anniversary. Where we were, he had us all, and like I said, I think this would be pretty powerful to share. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Truman Show with what's his name? John Kerry? No. Jim Carrey. So he showed that. He kind of told the story as it was going through. There was going to, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but at the very end, there's a storm. They throw everything at him. And he just said, that's going to happen. You're going to go home. Your family's going to throw stuff at you. Your business is going to throw stuff at you. Your customers, your reps, and you just ride out the storm. You just stay in there, you stay in the ring, and you stay fighting. And he just gave a lot of great advice as far as just stay with it, stay consistent, stay hungry, and don't quit. So I don't know if you have anything else to add, Andy, there as far as what I said.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, Fawn. Thank you for your share, and props to your bravery for being brand new in the business and showing up and doing it with strangers, because you're awesome, girl. You're an NMD in the making for sure. But I think with that, if you think of Eric Worre said that he spends $500,000 a year on his own coaching. If he's making X amount of money, he allots a portion of that, and he says I think it's 10% of your income to whatever coaching you want to be, to up level yourself, right? So the fact that we're learning from someone like that spends that much money on coaching, he's a top-notch coach. And he showed that movie, but then he did a visualization with us for about 10-15 minutes. Really, it was a really emotional visualization. Not riding out the storm and what that looks like, and then flipping it, and what it looks like to achieving the best that you can achieve, and not making it about you, making it about the people in front of you and their goals. And we hear that all the time with Juice Plus, but it was an amazing way to end the event. So
and speaking of that, he says you have to spend some money to shorten the learning curve if you really want to be successful in this business and make the kind of money that you can make to give to whoever you want and give a lot of that money back. You have to spend money to shorten the learning curve, and going to these big events is one way to do that. I mean, they must have marched. They had this Millionaire Hall of Fame. This is a kind of new thing. They marched 30 plus people across that stage that have made $1 million or more in a 12-month period. Yeah. I mean, the room was just full of these people. So what I want to talk about, like Andy said earlier, is belief in the industry. And this was one of the bigger takeaways for me last year. I walked out there and said, I don't know how anybody could come to this and not have 110% belief in this industry and what we were doing. This is the business of the future, and people around the world are doing it. There are 30 million people in network marketing in the U.S., and that's growing very rapidly. Thousands join every day. So we're at an amazing time for growth in this industry. And he broke it down and said it's about one thing, right? First, he said breakthroughs in technology and industry and products are not the thing. Compensation plans, competitive plans are not a competitive advantage. Perks and trips and car programs are not the difference either. Recognition programs that fill people up and excite people are not the difference either. And we know we are known as the company who cares, right? Juice Plus is that. He even said that's people who really care about their people. That's not it either. The engine that drives this whole thing is us. It's the people that are in this industry that believe in this and that are working hard every day to better people's lives through the products that we have. And it's not even just distributors. Distributors, he said, are temporary. Influencers are permanent. And that's what we need to find. We need to find influencers to continue to grow this industry. And if you really want to grow your business, it's the influencers that are going to really do that for you.
Explode that.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the characteristics of influencers, they're independent. We've heard before that it's really our job to get our people as independent as quickly as possible. We're doing them a favor by getting our distributors independent. They're problem solvers, so a problem comes up, they don't have to call their upline, they don't have to call anybody. They're like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to solve this. They're consistent. Oh, we heard that tonight, didn't we? Consistency, consistently. Consistency is everything. They create action around their business, and then they have big vision. And that's another little side note. We're playing small. And I think we talked about this last year. Think about playing bigger than you could ever possibly imagine playing in your life. And that's absolutely possible for any one of us. Most of those people that go across that stage are not even highly educated, right? They're just highly motivated. They're hungry. So that's a big thing. So it's really finding those influencers and, ask yourself, do I have all of these things? How many people on my team fit this? He said, Eric was very pointed. He said, the average number of influence in a team that makes $1 million a year is 25. So if you can find 25 true influencers that really want to make a difference, that is $1 million business. God, that doesn't seem that hard to me. That really doesn't, So, what else is in here? He talks about developing your people. Mentorship is key. In fact, the fastest way to success is to find a good mentor. And then, Fawn mentioned don't quit. So he also said sometimes your paycheck will not be going up, and that's okay. What's happening is we're basically stalling until our influencers can grow, right? So paychecks will not always be going up, but your level of influence is, and that's a huge thing. So when you get to that point where like, I've been stuck here for a couple months, is just biding time for those influencers to grow and to find more influencers.
Well, and he talks about seasons, like the slow season of your team's growth is actually really your peak season of seeding, and then reaping. So you have those seasons of planting all of those seeds, and then the growth.
And Juice Plus says, our business is like this. There's highs and lows. So it's the same exact thing. It's just a different way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Andy and I were talking about how just amazing people we get to hang out with at this place. I mean, one of the top guys in the industry, this guy, Tom Chenault, we met him last year. God, what an amazing guy. And he's got a son named Adrian who's 20, he's in his mid-20s. And he's actually developed an app that we'll share with you guys it's customer management, right?
Yeah.
So he's got a brand new customer management app that he's actually created.
Yeah. Looks a lot like Teamzy, and it's half the price.
And
he just shared it with us. So that was really cool. I signed up. You get 30 days free of it as well. Keep going. I'm going to look it up.
So another woman that Andy met, we were asked to go find a stranger and tell our story, right? Spend a couple minutes and tell your story to each other, which was awesome. She went and found this woman named Maria Luisa, who is $1 million earner. So she's just having a regular old conversation with $1 million earner. The lady was so nice. She gave us both hugs at the end. I mean, awesome. And you guys all probably know who Lauren Slocum is. She was there. She used to work for Tony Robbins. She is heavily involved with this event and helps them run it. And one of the mornings, she just came over and hung out with us, sat with us. In fact, so we bought gold. We had gold tickets because we bought a 10-pack. The gold seating, it's an arena. Gold seating was not accessible. So they put us at the very back of the VIP section, right? And at one point, one of the people came over and said, I don't know if we can do this. And then Lauren walked over. We're like, oh, hey. And we gave her a big hug. And they're like, oh, Lauren. And we totally got to sit in the VIP section the entire time.
Yeah.
Totally spoiled. We deserve it.
To answer your question, Tamara, the app is called Contact Mapping. And it's on both platforms. So whether you have Android or not, check out Contact Mapping. It is. I mean, it's very similar to Teamzy. So I'm going to try it out and see. But obviously, it's developed by somebody that's in the network marketing industry, like Eric is with Teamzy. So very cool. And yeah, I mean, to be able to say, oh yeah, no, we aren't with Lauren, but we're with Lauren. Like we're in that same company and.
She even came over and introduced her 18-year-old son to us. Yeah. His name is Quinn, amazing kid in his own right, who has 2.5 million followers on Instagram. He's building an empire and being an influencer at 18 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of people that this industry breeds, right? He's been around his mom's success this whole time. So just that was one of the things I wanted to mention. We met amazing people, and they're just normal, everyday people. They're just earning millions of dollars. And there's no reason that we can't.
And I think that's a big difference between this event and Juice Plus is, in Juice Plus, we don't really talk about our income. We don't really talk about going bigger. And I was talking about this with my team today that, if we're making 6 figures with Juice Plus, we think we're good, we kind of plateau. I mean, not that, the 6-figure earners aren't trying to make more, but there isn't a big push between that 6 and 7-figure income. And with this industry, we have that potential. And we all know we have that potential. And if you just sit on your laurels and say, I'm happy with making a couple $100,000 a year, you're still making it about yourself. You're not making it about the mission and the people in front of you. And So
yeah, he says, if you're making $100,000 in this industry, but you have the potential to make $1 million, then you should do that. You're obligated to do that. And even if you don't want the money, who cares? Give it all away. There's so many people out there that need this money, and that was a big shift for me. And I always had a little bit of a block to making that much money, what Jeffrey Birdie sometimes calls gangster money, because I was like, I don't need all that. I don't want to be this rich guy, but I do, because I want to give it away.
Well, there were some really powerful stories about what they're doing with their money. I mean, this one woman is making, she's providing water for really rural areas in Africa.
That have never had a well, so they built wells.
Yeah, that's, of course, wouldn't you like to give at that level? Yeah.
Another guy was building churches in Guatemala or something. Like he was building. It was amazing stuff. I mean, brought you to tears. Yeah. So that was kind of my takeaways from Eric. I wanted to just do a couple more things. I want to touch on Jeff real quick, because Jeff, I've heard Jeff speak a bunch of times, and a few of the times I'm like, oh, I've heard that before. But he was so fired up.
Yeah, it was really cool to have a Juice Plus person on the stage.
Please remember, he was honored.
Jeff Birdie.
At this event.
Yeah.
He is the only only person in history to make more than $100 million in network marketing. And he's done it all with one company.
Yeah,
which is really rare. I don't think anybody will ever catch him.
Right.
He is a rare breed. And he was on fire on that stage, telling his story, talking about finding people who are hungry and teachable. Getting into relationships to give, not to get. Say no now to things so that you can say yes for the rest of your life. These are some quotes that we've heard before, but he was absolutely on fire. And the biggest takeaway from him, stay in the production stage, right? Because at some point you get big enough to where you move over to that management stage and you're managing your people and you're running your organization. You have to stay in the production stage all the time. In fact, he and Cheryl Cortese at Q School this summer said, we're building Frontline again. And they were so excited about it. It brings some energy back into your organization. So he was absolutely amazing. And the last thing was, don't put your notes on the shelf. Because if you go home and put your notes on the shelf and they collect dust, that's not self-help, that's shelf help. And it's no help.
That's a great tip for JP Live too. Even go back through your notes at JP Live.
So, and then lastly, Ray and Jessica Higdon, I'd never heard of or heard from before, but they were really cool. The thing that stuck out with them, network marketing is the lowest risk, lowest investment way to start a business. And it literally is a gateway drug for entrepreneurs. If you get into this business and get excited about it, it's the lowest risk, lowest investment way to start a business and a successful business. But don't show up with your past dragging behind you. We all start at square one in this business. No matter what your background or how great you were at anything, you have to learn network marketing. And it's about how you think, not what you think. Those are so many more takeaways, but that was the stuff that stood out to me.
Fawn, did that make you think of anything? I don't know, Fawn, you want to jump in real quick and share any last thoughts? But at the end of this, we're actually so we had a big surprise. We did not have Les Brown on the agenda. We saw the whole list of speakers, and Les Brown is totally one of our heroes.
Guy's awesome.
His stories,
he just preaches.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing.
And he's always like, "You got to be hungry.
Hungry."
Yeah, he's got that kind of a voice. And so, just if you guys want to hop off because you got to run, we want to honor your time, but we're gonna actually take the last couple minutes. It's actually 7 minutes, so we're gonna show the whole thing. But I'll share the screen, and then that way that can be part of this recording, and you can get inspired with a little bit of Les Brown. So thank you everybody for coming. If you have to get off, I want to just thank you real quick, but I'm going to go ahead and share our screen.
We just want to make sure you guys all believe in yourselves and what you're doing in this industry and the people and the things that we can do to help other people. And Les, he's just awesome. So. And
we want more Juice Plus people there next year.
Yeah.
Because it's all about teamwork. When we grow together. So I'm going to share. expand, minimize that.
The one and only Mr. Les Don't you ever be sad. Bring on me. The days come and you're down. And I will trouble. And I'll pass this story out. On my way. Lock the room. Thank you. Thank you. I just feel so humbled coming behind greatness. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's very important when you think about all the speakers, and I want to thank you, Eric, personally. Johnny Wimbrey is my spiritual son. How did Johnny do? Johnny's a bad boy. But I want to thank you for your friendship, for the person that you are, and for your commitment to helping people live their dreams. I'd like to just put a little icing on this cake. Is that all right? That you have something special. You have greatness in you. You know many people who should be here, but they're not here. And you're here because you know the value of investing in yourself. You're here because you have a goal and a dream that you're determined to achieve. Like my goal was as a foster kid to buy my mother a home. And this business, this industry, allowed me to develop my confidence in myself because I didn't believe in myself for a very long time. Being born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor with my twin brother, being adopted, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, and someone saw something in me. Like Eric Worre, we've known each other so long, my God. He's just an incredible person. Give him another round of applause, if you please. Yes, yes. So I'd like to say and share this with you, and you already know it. That's why you're here, that you can do more than you can ever begin to imagine. This is a special time in history. Over 20,000 people are losing their jobs every month because of artificial intelligence, robots, and cheap labor abroad. But you decided that you're going to take charge of your destiny. You made a decision. It reminded me of Dr. Howard Thurman, who was a mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and avid Schweitzer Mahatma Gandhi. He said, there's something in each and every one of you that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have or hear. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life, your days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. And I submit to you that you showed up because you said to yourself, nobody's going to pull my strings. You showed up because you said, I'm going to control my own destiny. You showed up because you have dreams that you're determined to live. Give yourselves a round of applause. Bring your energy level up. Bring it up. Yes. So I like to leave this with you. As you collect yourself and go to all the various shows, as you prepare to go back to your cities, this dream that you have in your heart, I like to leave this with you that my mother loved very much. And I dedicate this to you, to that dream in your heart. Put your hand over your heart right now. Feel that beat. God so loved the world, he chose you out of 400 million sperm. Feel that beat. You're an unrepeatable miracle. You're a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Feel that beat. The world is a better place because you showed up. He created you because he couldn't be everywhere. You will give people hope. You will help people to control their personal economy. You'll help people to see the value that life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. There are people waiting to hear your voice. You were created on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose, and with the methods and techniques and strategies that all the speakers and Eric has shared with you. This is your winning season. You were born to win. It's in your DNA. It's who you are. So I'd like to leave this with you that my mother loved very much. Mama, she was something else. All that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. Leslie, yes ma'am, Mama. Say that thing for me, boy, that makes me feel good. I dedicate this to you and to your dream. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish or gall, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you'll get it. God bless you. God bless your dream. God bless America. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. And we'll share the recording as soon as it uploads. Okay.
Thank you, Andy.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for joining.